What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. Today it's watch list time for Game Week 4. So I've got 4 players that I put on my watch list after the weekend. Not trying to knee-jerk too much, as you'll see with some of the selections I've made. They're players that have been talked about before, maybe are coming into good fixtures that I'm not writing off just after one bad game. So if you enjoy this type of video, please do give it a like. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's jump into the first player. So Foden up first, £6.6 million midfielder. I put a few Man City players on last week's watch list. De Bruyne, Sterling, brought De Bruyne in. Did look at Jesus as well, but of course he is now injured. So it's hard to look past the £6.6 million midfielder playing for one of the best teams in the league that are probably going to score the most goals. Now, it's a weird situation, right? They look like world beaters against Wolves. They were so good, at least in the first half. Second half, Wolves did come back into it a little bit. And then yesterday against Leicester, they were just awful. Like, again, they started off really well, and then Leicester just came back into it. And it's not like Leicester are a bad side, right? So I didn't expect it to be an easy game for Man City. And they still scored 2 goals, but blanks for Sterling, Foden, and De Bruyne, obviously not a good look. But I'm not basing it on just one game. Foden is a great option for 6.6 million. And with Jesus and Aguero out, I feel like his minutes are going to be pretty good over the next few weeks. They haven't really got enough players to come in and play in those positions. Now, that might change in future games after the international break, etc. Maybe some of those players will come back. But right now, it's looking pretty good for Foden. And that's probably why I'd consider him right now, because of the extra minutes. Further down the line, he could still be a massive frustration, right? Don't get me wrong. He could be really frustrating because he could get a 1-pointer, then a 10-pointer, then a 1-pointer, then a 2-pointer. And it's just those things you kind of have to put up with when you buy a Man City player like this. But with these fixtures, if he's going to get decent minutes, let's say he starts, 3 of these games, Leeds, West Ham, Sheffield United, all to come. I mean, again, Leeds kept a clean sheet, but Sheffield United should have scored. Arsenal, look, let's see how good their defence is tonight when they play Salah and Liverpool. West Ham, clean sheet against Wolves. I'm not suddenly thinking that West Ham is a great defensive team. That was just a weird Wolves performance. And Sheffield United away. Sheffield United not kept a clean sheet yet, and I don't think that's something we're going to see that often this season, not compared to last season. So I think the fixtures are good. Foden for 6.6 million, definitely not writing off Man City. So he goes straight on the watch list. Might even come in this week. So Raul Jimenez up next, and look how happy he is when he sees the fixtures that are to come. And I know some people would have brought him in for even a hit last week, and obviously he got 0 points, hugely frustrating. I mean, what are the chances of getting an own goal, right? And to be fair, he didn't really have much of a sniff of a goal at the other end as well either. But like I said, it is one of those freak occurrences. I don't suddenly think that West Ham are a great team necessarily. They might do better, and obviously we're yet to know. We're still working off very small sample sizes. But I do know Wolves are generally a pretty decent team, and Jimenez does tick over. He's still got 2 goals in the first 3 games. So not one to look past. And the defences he's playing are brilliant, especially the next 3. Fulham and Newcastle in particular, and even Leeds away. I just think, again, they were a little bit lucky to get a clean sheet against Sheffield United. I just don't know how they didn't score. Meslier just had a great game. But I think there's goals in all 4 of these fixtures potentially for Jimenez. So definitely not writing him off. 8.6 million. For me, it would mean getting rid of Werner, and I'm not necessarily against that. My only worry with Wolves is, and it's a bit like Chelsea. You know how Chelsea have got quite a few new players. They haven't all been able to integrate straight away. They're making lots of changes. Like Werner's playing central, and then he's playing left, then he's playing right. Havertz is right, then he's number 9. And then he's playing number 10. It's just all this weird situation where they're moving stuff around. And the good thing about Wolves is they do have a pretty set way of playing. Like, it's 5 at the back, 3-4-3 usually, 2 players either side of Jimenez, 2 wing backs, etc. But they are missing Johnny. They are obviously missing Doherty now. He's gone. They didn't have Podence. They got no Jota anymore either. Maybe that is hurting them a little bit. But like I say, it is way too early to be writing them off right now. And Jimenez fixtures just look too good. So if you already own him, looking great. If you've got a way to bring him in that you're happy with, also looks really good. I know he's one of those players you don't necessarily want to captain. But let's not forget, if you're on Werner, that's a 0.8 million saving. That could be used in midfield. That's how I'm kind of eyeing up the Foden transfer for my own team, for example. So fixtures great. Really good player. Very consistent. Expecting good things from over the next 4 weeks. So Harvey Barnes is someone I really want to own. He's just such a fun watch when you have him. He gets so many chances. He's creating chances now as well. He can be a little bit frustrating. I've talked about this before because he is not the best finisher, right? I don't think anyone would sit here and argue that. But he does get so many chances that eventually he's going to keep putting them away. As we've seen already, even against Man City, he had quite a few chances. Yes, some of them were in and around the box. You wouldn't expect him to score them too often. But in easier games, he's going to get chances much closer to goal. And I was also, one thing I was quite impressed with was his composure in and around the box to play those passes in. The first penalty, for example, was from a really good pass from him into Vardy. Obviously, Vardy ended up getting fouled and won the penalty, so no points for Barnes for that. But it could easily have been an assist on another day. And for 7 million, I think it looks like an absolute bargain. And the thing is, he's not that kind of popular, really, in terms of kind of the Twitter and YouTube community. So I don't know what his ownership is right now overall. Not that I'd be worried about that anyway. But you can see that in the fact that he's got points in the first 2 games and still only £7 million. And the fixtures are great. West Ham, Villa, Arsenal away and Leeds away all to come in the next 4. I think he's an absolute buy. If I had an easier way to get him in, I definitely think I'd look to bring him in this week. I'm putting him on the watch list because I'm still thinking of ways that I could get him in. It's tricky without a hit for me this week, but over the coming weeks, even if I miss the West Ham game, I'd still be happy to bring him in game week 5. Arsenal away, look, we'll see how tough that is, but Leicester are a good team. And yes, they're missing Ndidi, which from an attacking point of view maybe doesn't matter, but Mendy's been playing in that kind of CDM role anyway, because Ndidi's been playing centre-back, and obviously with Evans back, hopefully he's not long-term injured. I think Leicester are looking pretty good, and how much confidence are you going to have after putting 5 goals past Man City, even if a lot of them were penalties? So Harvey Barnes looks like a great option, whether you can bring him in this week or maybe after the international break. Looks a decent bet for just £7 million. Look, I get it, the fixtures are awful, probably not going to look to bring him in, but I can see certain situations where it could happen. So, for example, I've got St Maximin now, 5.4 million because he's dropped in price. And yes, I would like to upgrade him, but I might not have the money to do it. And if I needed a replacement to play every week, I probably would be tempted just to get Soucek for 5 million. I think he beats out most of the 5.5 million or less midfielders. I did talk about him quite heavily pre-season. I never really considered putting him in my team. I just had other ways that I wanted to build my squad. But you just had to watch that Wolves match. The amount of times he gets into the box is just ridiculous. He only got an assist in the end, but on another day that goes straight in. And obviously, I appreciate it's not on target. That's why Jimenez got the own goal. But it was pretty close. And there was plenty of opportunities in the first half as well for him arriving later in the box. He's so tall as well, so offset pieces is a great option for headers too. And I'm looking at those fixtures and thinking, well, Leicester, you know, they've just conceded 2 to Man City still, 2 to Burnley. Spurs no clean sheet yet. Man City looked a bit rocky in the last game. I mean, are West Ham going to cause them a problem? Maybe not. But Soucek could cause that backline a problem. You just don't know. And Liverpool away is obviously tough. But for 5 million, you shouldn't be expecting too many points. So originally, I was thinking, okay, he's a good bench option, costs a little bit too much money, I don't want him. But now I'm thinking he could be played as a 4th midfielder if, there's a big if, there's lots of other premium players you want. Like for me, I've got James Rodriguez, and I could afford Foden as well, and I've still got a pretty good front line, and I've got Salah and De Bruyne, so maybe I don't need to put him in. But if it fits into your structure to go from St Maximin to Soucek, I don't see an issue even with these fixtures. He just gets too many chances. He's going to be one of the top scorers probably for 5.5 million or less as the season goes on. So that's it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know who is on your watch list for this week and obviously what you think of the ones that I've picked. Jamie Vardy, for example, was not on there, but he could have been 5 goals already this season. I appreciate a lot of them have come from penalties, which is hugely frustrating as a non-owner. But as I just talked about with Harvey Barnes, the fixtures coming up are good. No reason he can't keep scoring goals. And he is a very streaky player. We've seen him go on these runs of 8, 9, 10 games getting goals before. So definitely one to consider that didn't make my list, but maybe he's made yours. If you enjoyed this content and all this series so far this season, obviously the watch list series that is, hit the like button. It really does help me out. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. Hit that notification bell so you know when all my other videos are going up. And if you've not already checked out Patreon, make sure you do. Patreon.com/letstalkfpl. If you want to do a quick shout out to everyone that's signed up so far. Anyone that signs up basically gets on this wall. Shout out at the end of every stream, every video as well. And I'm also going to be offering new things through Patreon as well. So I know a lot of people want my videos converted to podcasts. I'm still not sure about doing that publicly, but if people really want them, I'm adding them onto the bottoms here of Patreon as well. So that should start from this week. As well as that, there's like Slack access, WhatsApp access, extra content and all that kind of thing as well. So if you've not already checked it out, patreon.com/letstalkfpl, link in the description. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you tomorrow for another video.